Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into financial coaching, looking at this guide for nonprofits that want to launch their own programs.
Yeah, this is a cool guide. It's really practical. It even gets into measuring how well these programs work. It's not just theory.
I love that. Before you jump in, you got to know if there's even a need, right? Like, is this the right move for the community?
Exactly. And it's not just about, crunching numbers to figure that out, though that's part of it. This guide gives you a bunch of ways to really understand what people are going through.
Okay, so what do they recommend? How do you get that understanding?
Well, they suggest doing surveys, putting together some focus groups, even going old school with one-on-one interviews.
Oh, interesting. So you're getting right to the source, hearing it straight from the people you want to help.
Right. It's one thing to look at statistics, but hearing someone's story, it hits different.
Absolutely. But speaking of stats, the guide talks about those too, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. They want you to look at things like census data, economic reports for your area, even your organization's own client records, to really see the big picture.
So it's like you're putting together a puzzle, right? You've got these individual pieces, the stories, but then you're putting that together with the bigger picture the data gives you.
Exactly. And then it's like crystal clear, right? You can see exactly what's going on. Say your nonprofit works on affordable housing. You could use this guide to see if budgeting or saving for a down payment are issues for your clients. Maybe financial literacy is what's really holding them back.
And that's where your program comes in to save the day. Though one thing I did think was cool, the guide even gives you a sample agenda for a community meeting. They want community members in on this.
Now that's smart. Gets everyone invested. Make sure you're not just creating some cookie cutter program. It comes from the community itself.
Love that. Okay, so you've got all this info now. You know what people need. But then what? How do you actually build this thing?
Well, the guide's got you there too, don't worry. It gets into the nitty-gritty, your mission statement, who exactly you're targeting, and of course, how to pay for it all.
Yes, the eternal struggle.
Yeah.
How do you fund something like this? Especially as a nonprofit, it feels like this guide is reading our minds.
Right, and it's upfront about it. It lays out grants, sponsorships, donations, even in-kind donations, which is interesting.
In kind. I'm not sure I know what that means in this context.
So think of it like using what's already in the community. Maybe a business donates some office space, or a lawyer offers free advice in exchange for some good publicity. The guide's full of these kinds of ideas.
Oh, that's clever. Okay, so we know why we're doing this. We're starting to see how to do it. But what about the who? The people running the show are amazing volunteers.
Couldn't do it without them. And get this. This guide has a ton to say about finding and training the perfect volunteer team.
Okay, so volunteers, crucial, but where do you find these financial wizards who also happen to love giving back?
That's what I thought, but this guide's got you covered. Professional networks, for one. And then there's corporate volunteer programs.
Yeah.
A lot of companies are into that now.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Even universities. Think about all those finance students who love some real-world experience.
True. Though it's one thing to find them, but you got to make it sound appealing too, right? Like, why should they volunteer here?
Totally. And the guide has a really good tips for that. Talking up the skills they can learn, how the program makes a difference, even stuff like networking opportunities.
Smart. It's got to be a win-win for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and they even suggest using testimonials in your materials, like from your current volunteers.
Yeah.
Nothing beats hearing it straight from someone who's already doing it.
So true. Got to keep it real. All right, so you found your dream team. Now what? Got to train them up, yeah.
Oh, for sure. The guide's big on having a really solid onboarding process, a good orientation, ongoing training, that kind of thing. And importantly, making sure your volunteers feel supported. They're giving their time, after all.
A little appreciation goes a long way. Okay, so we've got the setup, but now let's get to the good stuff, the actual coaching sessions. What's the guide say about those?
Well, they're all about structure. It starts with a good assessment to figure out where the client stands, what their goals are, that kind of thing. And then it's about making a plan together, setting goals they can actually achieve.
So it's not just like a Band-Aid solution. It's about giving them the skills to manage their own finances going forward.
Exactly. Teach a man to fish and all that. And that actually brings us to technology, which the guide is surprisingly into. They suggest using software to streamline things.
Technology. Okay, now I'm really interested. How does that fit in?
Think about it. You can share budgeting spreadsheets, financial literacy resources, even just motivational articles instantly. It can make the whole process way more efficient.
Makes sense, like a high-tech upgrade to traditional coaching.
Exactly. And they even mentioned specific software, like Finance Mentor. He can handle everything from scheduling to tracking clients' progress.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So it's not just about convenience, it's about making the coaching itself better.
Totally. All right, now, for something that sometimes gets forgotten, but is so important, measuring how well your program actually works.
Ah, yes. Got to have those numbers. It's not enough to just feel like you're making a difference. You got to be able to prove it.
100%. And this guide is all about that. It's not just about saying we help people. It's about getting specific, tracking things like how satisfied are clients? What are the actual financial outcomes? Did their debt go down? Did their savings go up?
Right, like are people actually better off?
Exactly. Even things like how engaged are the volunteers? Are they feeling good about the work? And then, there's a big, are clients actually changing their behaviors? Are they making healthier financial choices long term?
So it's really about the bigger picture, not just a quick fix, but a lasting impact, which is huge when you think about things like applying for grants, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Funders want to know their money is making a difference, and this guide gives you the tools to show them exactly that.
It's like that saying, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it.
100%.
Well, this has been awesome. We've learned so much from this guide about starting a financial coaching program. What's your biggest takeaway from all of this?
For me, it goes back to that community needs assessment. You can have the best program in the world, but if it's not built for your community, it's not going to hit the same. Listening to people, understanding their experiences, that's key.
Meeting people where they are, right?
Yeah.
Giving them the tools to build a better financial future for themselves.
Exactly.
This has been such a great deep dive. Hopefully our listeners are feeling fired up, ready to explore this in their own communities.
I hope so. And remember, this guide is just the start. There's a ton of support out there for folks who want to make a difference.
So true. And who knows, maybe we'll even revisit this down the road on another deep dive. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making that difference.